Hello and welcome to the UK Surf Show. We are your hosts. I'm Pete.
And I'm Mitch, and on today's episode, another Wales episode. This, honestly, brace yourselves. Brace yourselves, because I think, Pete, tell me if I'm wrong, we might have found somebody that can talk more than me.
I think we are. I think it was the introduce yourself, and 20 minutes later we were still sat there, just like pissing ourselves laughing because he just started and he just went.
When the other guest didn't get a chance to even introduce himself.
Yeah. Well, so anyone that's listening, it's Pete and James from PJ Surf Shop in Wales. I can't remember what it's called. What's it called?
Absolute legends of surfing and legends of Welsh surfing for sure. And honestly, what a day. We had so much fun, but we'll come back to that at the end, shall we?
Yeah. So here we go. So if you tell us who you are, and we'll take it from there.
I'm Jerry Lopez, but no, I wanted to be. I'm Pete Jones from Wales. I love surfing, and I went to school in grammar school in Swansea, and discovered surfing when I was 17. That's when I started, and my life went from A to Z.
In a minute.
Exactly, it did. I was going to be a PE teacher. I went to Cardiff College in 1967, and that's when Gareth Edwards was there. He was a third year, I'm a first year. And I just started surfing in the summer before then, and I got hooked on it. Christ, I'm stuck in Cardiff. I can't go surfing. Shit, what am I going to do? So after 2 months there, I thought, I'm leaving. I don't want to be a teacher. I just want to be a beach bum. I just want to get I had a little minivan. I had a little car. And I thought, right, I'm going to do that. And I went to the head of the department in Kincoid College, Cardiff. And I remember Eric, his name was, he said, why are you leaving? I said, well, I'm going surfing. This is 1967. What the hell is that? You do realise we have 9 applications for everyone except here. I said, I don't want to do it. I'm going. And I did. And, there were famous people. Lynn Davis, the Olympic gold medalist, was the athletics teacher and whatever. Yeah. But I left and I took up surfing. And now I'm here with my beautiful son, James. And I'm getting on a bit, croaking like an old frog. But I've always thought this, surfing is living. And so for me, I want to keep doing it as long as I can, get on. But when I'm in the water, what's fantastic about surfing is put a wetsuit on, paddle out, and I feel your age, for a while I feel
25 as well, yeah.
Yeah, I think being a little guy is quite advantageous. All the rugby guys my age, one of the great Welsh rugby players, JPR Williams, was in the college when I was there. And, now I see him. He's fantastic, a legend, true legend. Your knees are aching, and I'm lucky enough to be a paddle out, and I do a little bit of yoga every day, do a little bit of that. And that's what I love about it.
Well, that's an introduction.
That is an introduction.
What? Is it?
Yeah, that was a hell of an introduction. And your son's just gone to serve someone in the shop. So how did you go then from that to opening up this? When we put out we were coming to Wales, people were saying, we said, who should we get? And 95% of them, your name was there.
Did they?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
No, you want to know who the 5% was?
I gave them a hell of a lot of money to do that. That's £1 a month. Well, I dropped out, really. I think for me, I was always looking for something in life to make you feel, real life, to make you feel, I don't know, if I'm achieving something. My father, who'd been in the war, wanted me to get a real job. You know, when I left, he was really upset, left college. He said, get a job, you know, I'll get you a job. And I remember he got me an interview in Steel Company of Wales in Port Talbot to be an accountant, right? So I remember going for the interview. When I came back, I dropped out of college. I thought, oh shit, I better try and get on with Dad and do this. And I walked into the office, the head office of the accountant, Steel Company of Wales, behind a massive desk, shape of a sort of curved arc. There was this big man, because I was 17, and he was well overweight, should we say, well overweight. And he sat there, and he had a cigar in his hand, and he said, well, Peter, if you get this job, you could be sitting here 25 years where I am, being the head of accountant. So I looked at that. I did a sort of Rigby thing. I thought, no chance. Didn't say what came out of that. So I dropped out, and me and my father didn't get on because my dad didn't like long hair, didn't like somebody who didn't have a job.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I managed to skimp to go surfing every day, didn't do a job. I thought, what can I do to practice? I thought I wanted to get good at it. That's my ego, if you call it. Yeah. But I had no money. So I thought, right, what can I do? I haven't got any money. Right, and I opened Surfer magazine in 1969. This is a year later. It's a year and a half. And there was a picture of guys in California. In Australia, the World Contest was on. And I thought, ooh, and the British team were in it. So I thought, right, I'd love to get in the British team. If I do that, I get a free trip to see the World Contest, which I did. Anyway, so I kept practicing. And I thought I entered the Welsh in 1969. And it was here in Llangenneth, and I wasn't very good at it, but I got through a couple of heats. I thought, great, I'm good at this, I can do this. And then in 1970, I entered the Welsh in Aberavon, and it was lovely waves in Aberavon, and I got in the final, came fourth. I'm getting closer. And then in 1971, it's the only year there was no Welsh, there was nobody to organise it or whatever. And then 1972, the Welsh was here in Llangenneth, and I won it. And that kicked me off. I thought, I can win this. Yeah, right. And then I won it 72, right through the 70s. I won.
I thought you were going to say 71. You won it first of all.
No, there's no World Cup. Anyway, so I thought, and then I entered the British in Watergate Bay in Cornwall, and I got in the team to go to California in 1972, San Diego. The first proper World Contest I'd ever been, and for me, the best I've ever seen since, because there were no pro surfers then, there were no pro surfers, so the World Contest was, all the Hawaiian team were all the best, all the Aussies were all the best, and all the South Africans the best. We turned up in San Diego, me, Chris Jones, who sadly died a year ago, Graham Nile, Gordon Burgess from Jersey, and Steve Harewood and me. And it's an old picture of us under Huntington Beach. I'll never forget that. Fantastic. But the older you get, the more better it gets. But we stayed in a hotel. And first, we all walked in, and it was red carpets, right? I thought, shit, this is an expensive hotel. And I was staying with our, in the room, there were 2 rooms split between the teams. So there was 2. And I was with Tony Howe, who died a few years ago as well. He was a team manager. And we all went in, and we were booking in. There were surfboards everywhere. It was fantastic. Who's that, you know? And we went upstairs, and me and Tony were in this room that was like 5-star to me. And we were really hungry. So I said, Steve, look at there's a menu here in the room. So he said, let's order it. So we ordered lobsters and all stuff. Anyway, there's a knock on the door in the hotel. So I opened the door. In comes the waiter with a silver thing. This is for you. Great. This is all free. Fantastic. It's all free. So Tony and I ate like pigs, right? Then Red's brother, who was the big tea manager, had called us, meet you in the foyer. We're going out for tea. We're going out for a meal. Tony and I get it. Well, we just had food. We just ordered it in the hotel. He said, well, it's not free. We have food out of the hotel free. The hotel is free. The beds are free, but not the food. So shit. So we looked what we'd ordered. It was a lot of money, but they let us off. But so it brought a lot of things. And I remember this old guys, when I went up the lift, there was a South African guy, and I said, hi man, how you doing? I said, oh, okay. What's your name? I said, Pete. He said, oh, I'm Gavin Rudolph, who just won a major contest. So it was absolutely fantastic. And one night we were there. Steve Howard from Jersey, we all got on. Steve and I a little bit similar in fun time. Steve said it was about 11 o'clock at night, and there's a knock on my room. Tony was asleep. He said, Pete, there's a party upstairs, he said. Do you want to come? I said, yeah, okay. So off we went. Loads of the others were asleep because it was getting late and whatever. Up we went, the elevator up to the top of the hotel. Got out the elevator, you know, lovely thick carpets, so lovely long. You could hear music in the distance. The smell in the air in the corridor was strong. So Steve and I go to the room. I said, what number room is it? 320 or whatever. Door open, boom, there's music everywhere. And it was Jerry Lopez and Jeff Hackman's room in the hotel. So in I go, Steve Howard, they were all there. There was the Nielsen brothers. There was Rick Nielsen and Paul Nielsen from Australia. There was, I sat on a sofa, plonk, I went down. To my right is Mike Purpose, who still surfs, like a Californian guy. They were everywhere. And, you know, it was a lot of, you know, stuff. Yeah. And then the door opens, Corky Carroll comes in, boom, sits there. So I always look back at that. For that to happen today is almost impossible. For all the world's best in Hawaii, the world's best in Australia, to all be together. The British best would be Russell Winter, one of the best ever. You know, I think it would never happen again. Surfing has started to make money for the surfers as well. We weren't making money then. All of them had surf shops. Ricky Nielsen made boards. Jerry Lopez made boards. Jeff Hackman was, you know, doing stuff. You know, Shorts started doing that, Quicksilver. Yeah. But so that's missed, that purity of it.
Do you know what
I'm dying to know?
No. What I've loved about this is that when we came in, you were like, I don't really know what I'm going to talk about. And all we've asked you to do is introduce yourself. James has been away and served 2 customers.
I'm slightly older than I was when he started talking.
and we haven't said a thing yet over here.
Sorry.
I want to know how you got on in that competition out there as well.
Well, not very good. I rode a Roger Mansfield from Cornwall, his old board I'd bought, which is a pintail, 6'2", I think, single fin. And first round I came 4th, I think. In fact, first heat, they were in the foyer of the hotel. And we were all looking at the heats, so I thought, shit, what heat am I in? Heat 24 or something, loads of heat. I looked at the top, it said Pete Townend, Australia. and he's quite a bit younger than me. He ended up being world champion. Jerry Lopez, Hawaii. Pete Jones, Great Britain. Christophe Bordenave, France, French champion. And there was a New Zealand guy, can't remember. But I thought, shit, here I am in the contest surfing against Jerry Lopez in the first heat. So really, I remember it was at Oceanside, and the waves were fantastic. And, you know, when you're talking about, I was only 22 then, but that's quite old in modern terms, but Jerry was 24. And he's the one that I sort of admire the most of all the surfers in his whole personify what surfing means to him and me now, you know. Anyway, I put my vest on, I think it was in yellow, and he was just not far away, put in his blue shirt on. This was the day before we went to the party, by the way, the other.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I looked at him, and he came straight over to me. He said, "Hey, man," like Gavin Rudolph had said. He said, "What's your name?" I said, "I'm Pete." He said, "I'm Jerry." And that was it. You know, and I thought, fucking hell, that's great. You know, he just said hello, you know.
I would have been, I'm Jerry, I'd have been like,
That's where Kelly Slater got his handshake from, right?
Yeah, but so really, I came fourth in that. I had to go in a repechage, and I came second. I got knocked out. But it was, if you were a loser there, it was different than being a loser now. The losers now, some of them, I've seen them bring their boards and stomp on them, and it's all to do with money, which is, you've got to get rid of that. You could be one of the best surfers, stay there, don't do it for money.
Yeah.
Do it because you love it, and that's it.
Do you know what I'm curious about before we get you to introduce yourself? You found yourself competing with, you know, iconic names like that. Did you feel like you deserved to be competing with them people, or were you?
Well,
or did you just see them as another surfer in the lineup?
Well, I felt I was deserved. I don't feel that I was lucky, but I've always felt lucky, I think, in life. Do what you love, and there's no such thing as luck. It'll come to you then. If you're a great artist, don't do it for money, but if you love it, you'll become a famous artist. So do it for that. So really, for me, when I said the World Contest in 1972, that was the start for me, really. Then I wanted to win the British. I thought, I competed, I want to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And then I went to Hawaii in 1976, and me and Graham Nile, only two of us in it, in the amateur Smirnoff. And that was great. And I met people famous people, not all of them, are just like me, really. They're better at surfing, but their whole attitude towards it. And I remember I nearly made the final of the amateur. I came first in the first round with Buttons, Kuilani's friend, Mark Liddell, equal first. I thought, shit, that's great. I'm through. And then in the semis, there was one thing about it I still love. I didn't wear a leash. This is 1976, because all the Hawaiians, if you walked on the beach with a leash on, hey man, you're a kook, man. You know, you're kook. So took a leash off, and I rode a 7'7" creamed honey, all red board. But I never ride in Britain. Right. But at Sunset Beach, it was fantastic. It was just, but I remember walking past the crowd, they're all there, and I heard a shout from the stand. Pete! I turned around, good luck, man! And that was Rabbit Kekai, one of the most famous, who was manager. He wished me good luck, and I thought, God, that's all I need is that. Anyway, I was doing really well, but then I lost my board, and I ran out of time and didn't make the final. But all of the picture, you know, it's just, it's like, and the egos are so different. Like, Ben Iper pulls up. Ben Iper makes Iper surfboards, invented the Stingers. And I made a little film. I had a Super 8 camera. And I remember walking over to him. People say, hey, don't mess with Ben. Fuck, look, shit, man. Shit, this is... So hello. Hello, my name's Pete. Can I take a little film of you? Do you mind me filming you? And he turned around and he said, yeah, man, that's okay. And that was fantastic. Got a little film of him pulling his board out the van, But so I have been lucky enough to mix in a different place, because now it's different. In fact, I've actually had people come in here, right, because I'm so old, young people. Mm-hmm. They all know Kelly Slater, they know Gabriel Medina, they know Toledo, talking about that. And they say, oh, have you surfed a long time? They say, yes, I have, yeah, oh, great. Who do you know then? So I say to some of the new customers, have you heard of Jerry Lopez, Jeff Hackman, Nat Young, Wayne Lynch? No, never heard of them. I fucking hell, that's what it fucking is. That's shit. That's what it is. There's a bunch of old surfers, and we're all, maybe that's when you get old. You think you're in the right same place, but we're not really.
Yeah. You
drift backwards, but I'm lucky enough to still work, because lots of people my age are retired or whatever, and I able to mix with the new stuff, and most of it's lovely. It is lovely, but for me now, when I was young, I hated longboarding, right? Because I had a short single fin, 6 foot. I loved those. Longboarding now, I got to tell everybody this because I know it can be dangerous, but surfing a longboard with a leash is horrendous if you're good at it. Because you walk up to the front, you turn around, you want to do a headstand, they get in the way. They are a pain in the ass. Obviously, people say they could be dangerous, but so many learners now jump off their board at the end of the ride in white water. They don't learn to kick out. Whereas in my era, all of us, we didn't have leashes for 5 years. And all the oldies, they know how to kick out. They jump, hold their boards. So it's a little bit about
I think it's kind of...
Shortboard is different. That's great. Wear a leash, feet are stuck. Longboarding, in a contest, if it's huge, you've got to wear a leash. But if you ride 1 to 4 foot waves with a longboard without a leash, it's magic.
I'll go home now then.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying to beginners don't do it without a leash until in your mind you know you can handle it. You're good enough,
Well, that's what I was going to say. It kind of sounds a bit similar to maybe a beach lifeguard course, and if you lose the board, that's a big no-no.
Yeah.
Almost the respecting of your equipment. If that's the culture and you're going to kick out with your board, or you're going to keep the board with you the whole time. Yeah. It's a bit different to what's probably going to happen in an hour. We'll go for a surf down there after here. Pete's first wave. He's going, I'm going to go no leash. He'll be back up here asking to borrow a board. That's what's going to happen.
It will.
If the waves are big, windy, or whatever, or if I was in California and there was hundreds, but it's a leash with a longboard. It's like driving a car with the brakes slightly on, or wearing a condom, or not. There's quite a difference in fun. There's quite a difference in fun.
Good analogy.
Sorry.
Didn't see it coming, but it's a good analogy.
Sorry, but there's a hell of a difference. And I do love looking at the old films before me, the 1950s, Mickey Dora. I'd love to have met him. And people like that. I think it was fun. And there were loads of contests all over the world, but it was all because surfing made you feel alive, and loads of them didn't work and stuff, but they fit us.
Yeah.
Fit us.
Well, I was going to say to introduce yourself and how you got here, but after that last comment, we already know how you got here.
Just like to wake up, hang on.
James, because James, I love him to bits. the day I won the European title, somebody...
I hope you know this already. You're about to find it out.
Yeah, I do know this.
Oh.
I don't remember it.
I won't tell you. But I think, somebody rang me, and my lovely wife, Carolyn, had a son. I thought, shit, I remember Linda Sharp coming in and got drunk as a coot. This is the day before the final. And I remember I felt happy, when you have a little child, and it's a boy. Like, I got a lovely daughter as well. I love her to bits. And when I paddled out in the final, I felt relaxed, determined, and I was on form. I come back from Hawaii and whatever. So I thought, I'm going to win this. And a good friend of mine, Steve Daniels, a lovely guy, came second. We always, I don't know. So I was lucky enough. So I think James helped,
Well done, James.
Thank you.
It's a good way to introduce yourself.
I thought for a minute I thought that story was going to go into how you were conceived, the when and where.
That's exactly what I thought it was going to happen. That's what we both thought.
Well, that's a love story. That's because.
That's another hour.
Do you want me to shut up? No. Well,
I think there's only one person that wants you to, but it's not us.
When I. In 1973, I'd won the Welsh twice then, and I used to practice down here in Llangennith.
We're talking about surfing, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So I was practicing. Came over the dunes one day, and Carolyn, my wife now, is coming over the dunes, and I thought, bloody hell, she's bloody good looking and lovely and got lovely eyes. And I said, hi. She said hello. And anyway, I thought I was with a friend of mine who lives in Australia now. Phil Hayward lives out there. Excuse me. And anyway, I thought, Christ, Phil, she's lovely. And I was engaged to another girl. I was engaged to be married. So I practiced it for a week every day. The waves were really good. Came down every day. Every day I came down. Carolyn was walking on. Didn't know her name then. So... didn't know her name then, and one day I just couldn't stop myself. I said, hey, do you want a date? So she said, yeah, and that was it. I told her, I got to tell you something, I'm engaged to another girl, but I don't know, stuff's going on upstairs in your head and downstairs in the basement, and you think, shit. Anyway, so we're still together. We got married, and my lovely wife, the day we got married is when I came back from Hawaii. She asked me, I said, yeah, okay. So we lived together for 3 years up till then. So, I'm a little bit of a non-believer in love, in marriage, in you don't own anybody when you're married. It's different. And anyway, the day we got married, I said, right, we'll get married, but we won't tell anybody. She said, fine, we just do it. Let's just get married. So in the morning, I surfed Langland.
Yeah.
We were in Swansea Registry Office at 2:00 in the afternoon. And then we were in Aberafan at 4:00 and surfed again. So we spent no money, came back, told her mother and father. We've got married, and they were very bohemian. Her mother and father, Yogi, they were stoked. They loved it, and my mum and dad. So we got married, cost it $0, and still together.
Amazing.
And we've been together for 100 years. It's fantastic. We've been together for 50 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And, that's the way life goes. I believe life has big... You think you're going down a road and a big hiccup comes in, sometimes to everybody, all of us, bang, and you shoot in the other direction. Yeah. That's what surfing did for me. I was going to be a PE teacher, bang, surfing, no, bang. So I always think, follow what you love. I love to surf, I love my wife, I love my family, and... I talk a load of bollocks sometimes too. But no, but anyway.
It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. So you must have grown up in this shop.
Yeah, pretty much. My name's James. I've been here for ages. Listen to my old man waffling on. So obviously the day I was born, my dad won the European title. So I spent a lot of time when I was, really young, going to France with him and like traveling around contests, Scotland, Ireland, in the van, wherever. So I pretty much started surfing, I don't know, really about 4 or 5 years old, just messing around, playing around, but not really seriously until I was about 10 years old. But that was mainly due to equipment back then. There wasn't really great kids' winter wetsuits, and even though we had a shop, it was still difficult to find equipment. But Andy Sherlock from Second Skin made me my first custom wetsuit when I was little, so I could get in a bit more than others, and obviously living by the beach was able to sort of follow in his footsteps. But
now I did feel pressure on you, James, as well, because I say to your children, there's loads of famous people who are famous rugby players. Son, I never wanted James to think he's got to try and achieve, be a champion like his dad. Don't do it because of that. Do it because you love it. And James won the Welsh twice, haven't you?
Yeah, open
and he's
man,
a lot better than I was anyway.
You were telling us earlier about the how many.
Yeah, I won everything from like under 14 upwards, and I'd British champion, British schools, Welsh schools, but there was quite a jump in. There was a bigger gap between junior and open surfing. Yeah. In my day, really. Yeah. There was a few crossovers like Russell Winter and people like that excelled massively. And, Russell won everything. I think Vaughan was probably the only person to beat him up in Fraserburgh in the British. So there was quite a step up from junior to men in my day. Whereas nowadays, if you're not winning the open men's when you're 18 or 19, you might as well go to college, because it's too late almost. It's got younger, even though you've got people like Slater and all that lot that are way older and still on tour. Surfing has got younger,
absolutely,
totally. So, but no, I used to play cricket a lot when I was younger, but I started surfing then and competing and took over, and then I got picked up by Quicksilver when I was 14 and was sponsored by them for like 16 years or something. Wow. Yeah. So I went to France, went to South Africa competing, and various other places. But I didn't manage to. I had a few years out competing in my early 20s just because I got a bit fed up with it all, and then made a bit of a comeback, and then won the Welsh, I think in 2006 possibly. I think then we were the first father and son to have been national open champions. Oh, amazing. But so we've actually won the same amount of Welsh titles, but I've won them in different divisions, whereas Dad's won all of his, in the one. But I think the only reason he won everything is because they were all stoned back in those days.
They were. Yeah, that brings back memories. I tell you what. Me and Steve Howard in San Diego. We left the hotel. We were staying in a motel, Ocean Beach, and we wanted some food. So Steve said, "Go and get some burgers." So off I went. Outside the burger shop in Ocean Beach, California, 2 guys come up to me. This is 72. Long hair everywhere. We're all long haired. So 2 of them look at me and he say, "Hey man, do you want to buy some stuff, man?" I said, "No." He said, "What do you mean, man? You want to buy some stuff? We got some good stuff. We got some Colombian gold." "No, I don't smoke." "You don't smoke?" They burst out laughing and walked off.
It's like a scene out of Cheech and Chong.
Yeah, so I did have a go. I did try it once or twice, but I don't need it, and but it was fun anyway. Loads of my friends like a spliff. That's fine. It's not not a big deal or not, you know.
The thing I can't get past is I've never held so much of a transition between an American and Welsh accent in my life, and it's brilliant.
I've got such a croaky old voice at the moment. I can actually talk in an Indian voice very well too, but I've never been to India at all. But no, I look back, I do, lucky enough to, if you guys were with me, it's so different. It's just, it wasn't a sport. That's the other word I don't like. It's a way of life.
Yeah.
Whereas young kids now, they're a bit unlucky because it is a sport. They train to be a pro surfer, do this, do that, do this, do that, do. So I did it in the beginning because it was an addict, really. I am an addict. If I'd been an alcoholic addict like I am with surfing, I'd be dead.
Yeah.
Like any other stuff. So really, I think it's a way of life. And one thing I hate about it is localism.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah, because the numbers everywhere you go in the world now is busier.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to blame the internet because of it. Because when computers, the internet came along, what word do they use to go on the internet? Surf the internet. I remember that word coming out. I thought, well, can't they have, jog the internet or climb the internet or something like that?
Cyber surfing.
Not that it's just that, but it's the word. So people living in London who don't surf, the word surf, some people think, oh, what's that word? Surfing? Oh, yeah. And it's used with advertising everywhere. It is lovely. If you can earn money at it, but you've got to be a real surfer. So the ones who are not full of localism or aggression, you go in the water to relax, yogic, to chat, and that's how it was years ago. I mean,
so how have you found, so from surfing back then to now, how have you found the boards have changed over the years?
Hugely. I think the weight of them as well, the way they're made with carbon, that longboard there, super light. I mean, in the old days, they were heavy. They were 10 ounce cloth, super heavy.
Yeah.
And in the old days, you sort of had to learn how to ride the board you liked because they were all thick. Some of the twin fins that were invented in 1970, I think. Fins were dead straight and boards were thick and the wide point was forward in the board. Now they're more backward. So there were lots of bits of that are... but if you liked a board, you learned how to ride it. But now they're so technically perfect. I like boards hand-shaped, really, by a shaper, like Bob McTavish in Australia makes boards, and in Hawaii, I like it all like that. Even a board with a little glitch in it still works, you learn how to ride it. So there are bits of that, but the modern technology is unbelievable.
Do you think, had you had a board, when you started out, if you had, access to something like this amazing skin dog Peacemaker here, do you think that would have changed your surfing really quickly from the start? Do you think you would have progressed better?
Yeah, when the guy who won the world title in 1972, Larry Blears from Hawaii, was riding a twin fin, and I was on a pintail single fin, which was stiff, and and he was riding, I think it was about 5'11", a little 20, and David Nuiva riding it as well. So yeah, we in Britain then, I think surfing was, we were learning from all the other countries. You know, boards would come in and Chris Jones and Bilbo would say, "Oh, look at that! We'll make a different type of board," and so we were following the others. Now in Britain, Skin Dog's boards are fantastic, and he's achieved huge results.
He has,
but I think in Britain, our waves generally suit longboarding more than shortboarding.
Yeah,
really, not all of Britain, but in
no, generally,
in Ireland, Scotland, you get big hollow waves, but it's colder. In Hawaii, it's hot. In South Africa, it's warm. You learn how to ride a barrel with baggies on. In Scotland, you learn how to ride a barrel with a hooded wetsuit, boots and gloves on. So there's a little bit of a difference between the level you get to quick.
Yeah.
Whereas with us here, excuse my crow, it's getting worse. With us here, when the waves are a foot or a foot and a half, you can go in a longboard, you can twiddle around and do all the stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So I think, modern technology with longboarding, Skin Dog's achieved incredible things. So did Russell Winter, shortboarding from Newquay to get in the WCT level.
Yeah.
Living in Britain, I know he travelled a fair bit. To do that is fantastic,
And I think it's them early days as a surfer that really molds your progression. I think you have to have it from a young age to get to that level.
Yeah, and you've got to have a competitive head in you as well to achieve stuff. Loads of guys I've seen around the world who are fantastic surfers, but don't know their name. But they're non-competitive.
Yeah.
Whereas I was competitive till 1983 when I won the Welsh for the 8th time. I thought, that's it. I don't want to do any more. My head went backwards. I thought,
right, okay.
I love surfing. I don't want to compete anymore. I want to retire now. Excuse me. And I did. And I always think similar things about money surfing, people, fame surfing. I do wish, for me, Kelly Slater is the best surfer there's ever been, no doubt, I think. He should have retired when he won the 11th world title, I think.
There's a reason for that, though, isn't there?
Kelly, man, you're the best.
Why he should have retired, or?
No, there's a reason why he hasn't. Is because he staying on tour, he gets to surf the best waves in the world with one other person in the water.
That's true.
And if he picks up the odd result, like the Pipe Masters he won before, fantastic. But I think that is his only his determination is only to stay on tour so he can go and surf the best waves in the world on his own. Like the time he surfed Trestles when there was I can't remember who it was, pulled out because he was not well or he was sick or got injured. Trestles was 6 to 8 foot. It was a 40-minute heat and Slater said, no, I want to go in, and he went in and surfed all on his own. Because he said he said this will never happen in my lifetime ever.
I totally agree with you with that, James.
That's a good enough reason on it.
That's the only reason.
Yeah, I do agree, Jay, totally with that. Because in my day, to be at Sunset Beach, water cleared, 6 of us paddle out. In South Africa, 6 of us paddle out. Yeah, you're right there, I think. But if I was 11 times world champion, I don't know. I'd like, when you see who you think is the best ever, lose a bit. You get older, lose a bit. But maybe if they clear the water for a contest, maybe I'm going to make a comeback there.
But don't you think on it?
Shit.
Yeah, like Skinner now. He's in Malibu now, and he's going to be surfing Malibu all on his own, or with one other guy. And you've got priority now. So even when you've got the other guy in there, you can still take any wave you want. So
don't you think there's a part though as well that we already said it about surfing is very much a young person's sport, especially at that level, and you have to be so young to start to even get to that level, but I quite like to see that somebody like Kelly, it's not like he's going on tour and flopping, he's still very much holding his own. He's winning events here and he's making finals, semi-finals, so on. Like, I think it's good to show that
you can still
you hate
do
to
it.
see it. Formula One's a great example. Formula One drivers retire, come back, and they just don't have it anymore. But he's still got it, and he's still doing it. Maybe not as he did.
But he's still a bit. He's starting to look a bit dated, though. I think. You know, when you see the old clips come up of him in his like prime, there's a definite zip to his surfing that has disappeared now. But
I think we'll always think
that,
he was the best, though. Anyway, if he'd have gone and came back, and you hadn't seen Kelly, you'd know it. You'd know. You're not going to watch him paddle out and look 10 years gone or whatever. You think, fuck, he's still fucking brilliant at it. He always will be. It's like, when you've earned that much respect, you don't have to keep doing it to keep that respect, because you always will have it. You know, I think if you're a true champion, you'll always have it. Like, you know, loads of others, Mark Richards, Tom Curran. You know,
you've got certain names throughout. Like if you said skateboarding would be Tony Hawk, and then you've got BMXing, Matt Hoffman. These names that pioneered and it was right people, right time, everything changing, and they were ahead of it at that time,
and still are. Tony Hawk now, isn't it? You know, still incredible.
What you said before as well about, you know, young people coming in and not knowing who these names are. So this might please you, but we had the guys on from Srface Scotland way back in February. And Kelly Slater was playing golf at the Open in St Andrews, right? Which obviously he won. That's why he plays. Because he would win. He doesn't do anything if he wouldn't win. We've established. And Kelly ended up going to West Sands, which is the spot on the golf course. It's a good surf spot. And he went and gave Surfable some time. And he just helped out the drums and stuff. Yeah, amazing. So a good mate of mine, Rue, who's one of the instructors there at Surfable Scotland, they were like getting
Wave
photos.
Project Scotland.
Wave Project Scotland.
Wave Project Scotland. Surfable.
Sorry. Wave Project Scotland. Yeah. Anyway, so they were getting pictures with Kelly, and Kelly was showing all these little groms, how to pop up and all this stuff. But the best thing about it is none of the kids knew who he was. They didn't have a clue, because they've got into surfing for mental health reasons and stuff like that, not because they've grown up with surfing sort of stuff. So they're like, who's this old guy?
That's lovely.
Brilliant.
That's cool. What's lovely about that is, well, you telling me that Kelly didn't say to them, you know who I am, do you?
For sure,
Which is fun. That's the bit that makes, you know, Kelly.
Makes him great, really.
But you know what, as well, you're right, it wasn't that, because when he's going between holes, like, every surfer in Scotland's pretty much at West Sands Beach trying to walk with Kelly, but a lot of my mates do. They go meet him and they walk the course with him, and he's just showing them crazy clips of surfing that he's not published yet and stuff. And the guy's giving them so much time. It seems like humble, but I've also had a lot of people say he's an arsehole in real life as well. So I've not met him, so I don't know.
Yeah, I did notice when you're old, if you lose, do you get angry or not? Because I saw him in a contest not long ago, angry at himself for not beating the other guy. Well, I thought, there's no need to be angry, Kelly. You're still the bloody best if you lose and come out.
He stamped on his boards, didn't he?
I think so. That's where competition,
in the changing room,
of the modern competition stuff, there is. It's always got that little bit of aggression. It's the old contest, 50s, 60s, into the mid 70s, kept it just. I got knocked out, man. Come on, let's go and have a beer or whatever. Yeah. So it is different.
So I have a slightly different approach. So the reason that I don't get annoyed when I lose is because I've never won. And if you never win, you don't know what it's like to lose.
Yeah.
So I don't win because I don't want to know what it's like to lose.
Not the mindset you want to have going into a
I'll never be disappointed.
Well, really, it's an old saying, which is a bit cliche. The best surfer is the one having the most fun.
Yeah.
And really, that's so bloody true. If you get knocked out, but you had a good little surf, doesn't matter. Does it? You feel good. You've had a good workout. And that's where the purity of it is fantastic.
But that's come because the better you are, the more you have, the more expectation you have when you have a surf.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think so. Obviously, you know, if you're a good surfer and you go and you have a shit surf, you're not having the most fun. Whereas when you're learning, and people just want to be in the sea, they're the ones buzzing off it.
Absolutely,
You know,
And it's all the old sweats being miserable and having a go at them for not knowing where they should be.
Yeah, exactly.
So what about like this place then? So how did this come about? How did it end up? How long have you been here? Have you been here since you started?
We've been up here since
1994.
93. We were down the road. We had a little shop down the road in 1983.
But you started in 1979.
79 from a house. I started thinking, right, I got to start earning a living.
Yeah.
Fund his drug habit.
Surfing.
The hotel lobster food.
Weed was expensive in those days.
The weed and the lobster from California was an import cost that you just couldn't manage.
But I thought, I've got to earn some money. And I thought, well, in those days, I knew where to get wax and leashes and started doing that. And then lucky enough to buy a house down the road. And really, the old days is totally different to the new days because I had no money, totally broke. And it's a little shop down the road and a house going up for sale. Anyway, I thought, God, I got to buy this. This is the best spot to have a little shop. And we went to the bank in Mumbles, Midland Bank. You would never be able to do this now, right? So I go in and I met the manager, Mr. Jones. He was another Jones. He said, hello, what do you want? I said, well, I need a mortgage to buy a house down here in Llangennith. He said, what job do you do? I said, I'm not working, I'm just starting. He said, I'll come down and have a look. So he drove down and had a look. The manager from the hotel, I was going to say from the bank, came down and said, right. And I told him all about myself. I am a champion surfer, but I'm going to start a business and it's going to work and da-da-da. Anyway, he said, right, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll send the head office in London then. A prediction of what you're going to earn, X amount this year, X amount next year. So he told a bit of a, but he thought he thought it would work, right? Came back and said we'll give you the mortgage, and which was 35 grand then, right? It's a lot of money then, and I kicked off doing it, and everybody in those days, there was no internet to buy. Everybody knew me as well, and other people. I'm not the only one, but they knew Pete. Or go see Pete for a wetsuit, and it jumped.
Yeah.
And then 10 years later, it was booming, and this property here, where we are sitting now, was the village shop, and. I said to my lovely wife, I said, God, we've got to buy this place. It's the best place in the village. There's a church, a pub, and a shop. That's it, right? So you get drunk, you could go surfing, you could be buried in a church, whatever you want. So anyway, we came up, and I don't mind telling you this live, and it was up for 250 grand, right? This is in 1992. I thought, shit, 250 grand. Oh, I can't afford that. No way, right? And then I tried to put it out of my mind. I can't buy this. And 6 months later, still on the market, nobody got it. And there were surfy businesses started to grow a bit. You know, I'm down the road in a little one. But I wanted a big one. So, I wanted a big one. Some people are born lucky. No, I was going to say. Anyway, so I said, 6 months later, it wasn't for sale. It was still up for sale, sorry. So I came in and I said to the man here, how much is it? So I dropped the price. He said, 180, 70 grand less. So I thought, shit. So I went down, talked to your mum about it, did our sums, still can't afford it. Fuck, I got it. Anyway, about 9 months, nobody bought it. This lovely spot. So 9 months later, I came in again, and the man who owned it, Paul Lee, was an English ex-army, old guy, right? And it was the village shop and a chip shop. But he'd had enough of it. He was quite old, wanted to give it up, retire. So 150, he said. I thought, shit. So I went back down, and we had a house value down the road, and it was valued at 120, our house. So I came up with an idea. I thought, right, I don't want anybody else to buy this, and I don't want to wait to sell ours. So I came up with an idea. I came in, saw old man Paul. I said, what about this? I said, our house down the road is valued at 120. We'll buy this and I'll give you 30 grand and a house which makes it 150. He said, okay. Shook my hand. So all I had to do was add 30 to my mortgage then. And we bought it. And he moved down there for 2 years. Then he sold it and disappeared. But I got this property somebody else would have whammed in. Quick.
No.
And I'm not saying life's would be any worse or whatever, but I've always felt, destiny or whatever for you guys, destiny doing this, destiny might make a big movie one day, So it's handed me a lot of stuff, and James...
I'm not as cosmic as Will, man.
That's because you didn't spend the 60s in California smoking pure weed.
And music. I mean, I love playing my guitar. Love doing that. The side of me that was surfing took over a little bit. I love strumming and
So on that of you starting up here, when did the official first surf line start up?
That was down the road
Was
in
it?
1991. That was, but people had been ringing me for, God, how old were you then, James?
We used to have old tape answer machine.
That's
so
right.
people would phone the house number, and the tape would just go round. They used to burn out. They would, because it would just be going all day long.
Just people ringing up to...
Just ringing the house, find out what the surf's like. So Dad used to record it on the answer machine message.
Hello again.
House, and it would just loop, and it would literally ring all day and all night.
Wait, and is that... So that's where the expression surf line came from?
Yeah, well, surf line, in the early days.
Not expression. The
telephone
brand.
line.
Surf line,
crossed my mind.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But, so I thought I'm fed up with picking up the phone all the time. People saying, all right, but what's a surf like? I don't know who I am, but bloody...
You still don't answer the phone now, mate. It does. It rings all day long.
So I thought,
it sort of started again, but we just ignore it now.
What's that fucking noise?
Text us so we can delete those.
Do you remember, Jay, when I rang a BT in London? I'd like a premium rate number. He said, oh, yes, you can have a premium rate number. Yes, I'll come and see you in Swansea. He took a train down, one of the BT managers. And in those days, premium rate numbers in the sort of late 80s, 90s was all different. They were, hi, hello, how are you? Are you feeling good? Yeah, I'm feeling good.
A lot of experience.
So anyway, he said, we'll give you a premium rate number, we'll give you a golden number, which in those days it was 0898 445 445. And Who Wants to Be a Millionaire number on TV was 0898 444 444. So I had a very close number to that. But
either way, it was a win. You were going to get a wave or some money.
But there was a but with it, wasn't there? Because you had to buy the number.
Yeah, I had to buy the number, and I said,
whereas
how much?
Nowadays they're free.
Yeah,
you can get a premium rate number. But
so, in 1992 was it? Yeah, 1990. I said, how much to have it? And Cara and I were sitting in Swansea in a cafe having a meeting with BT boss. And he said, well, it's going to cost you 10 grand a year. I thought, fucking hell, 10 grand, 200 quid a week. Cara and I, she's looking at me, I'm looking at her. Shall I do it? Shall we sign a contract for a year? He said, well, if it doesn't work, we'll give it up. And so I did. And in those days, all the figures every week, I'd get BT figures.
Right.
And they'd come in. First week, I thought, shit, have I got to pay them? Like 200 quid a week I had to pay to have it. Anyway, it came in, 264 quid it made. So I thought, fuck, great. I've got 64 quid for doing that, But within a couple of years, it jumped. It was doing well. It didn't make me rich, but it was good money. But it sounds fun, easy. It is easy, but every day for 22 years,
twice a day,
I would get up, out of bed here, where we are now, drive down to the beach, right? 8 o'clock, raining, windy, winter, December. Phone in then, come back up here, phone in, codes. Hello again, off we go with Surfline Early Morning Report. This is Pete Jones, your roving surf reporter. And I used to do it like that. And it was fun, and it made about 5 years later, it was making really good money. But then it started to dip.
Okay.
And in a way, I'm glad we gave it up. You did it.
I did it for ages, yeah.
But it's a commitment that takes you 20 minutes to do it.
So
right?
we'd always need 2 people here.
Yeah.
Because in the summer when it was heaving, we'd always drive down and check it. So we had to make sure there was someone here to cover the shop.
Yeah.
And 7 days a week, every morning, 7 o'clock,
Christmas
you'd
Day.
it'd be done.
Yeah.
And it became
I
more of
suppose
a
you can't
chore.
do anything. You can't go away. You can't unless there's someone to cover
holiday.
it.
So if
had
Dad was
something to
away,
do.
I had to make sure I was here. Cause
And when you were doing it, was he critiquing your style of how you
No,
done it?
no, it's great.
No, I used
Really
to,
well.
I used to
Like
try
that.
and speak a bit slower to make a bit more money, but it was just the tie of it, and people believe it was only Dad and I that really could do it, because if my sister did it, they'd go, even though she knows what she's looking at when she checks away, they knew we were looking at it, and it was legit report. It wasn't like
It was fun.
And the surf shop, it's a proper surf shop. Like, I think the location's amazing, and you've been super busy. Like, even since we've been sat here, I don't know how many times you've been out there.
Most of them have been working, looking for sandwiches.
I
should have kept that fucking village shop open.
I'm pretty confident you just sold 3 dry robes while we've been sat here. No, by the way, dry robes are available.
Dry robe,
right here.
Formerly known as a towel.
And what about, the surfing down this spot? Obviously, this week kind of grown up surfing. How is it as a spot? Big community here?
It's really close to Swansea, and there's a lot of little, like, Langland's really core. So it's only like 20 minutes. So there's a really good surf community, Gower surf community. There's like a hardcore community, and then there's like a new community of surf, a surf generation, like the ones that don't know who probably Tom Curran is. So there's that's changed quite a lot. But the university, there's a lot of surfers every year this time of year start to appear. But the students and stuff tend to go to Caswell and like other spots. And there's so much space here. It's such a big beach that great. You don't. It does get rammed. Don't get me wrong. Like everywhere, the waves were really good on Monday, and it was pretty crowded up the north end of the beach. But it's it's an indicator spot like Bude, Croyd, Fistral. It faces dead west. It picks up any sort of swell in the Atlantic. So, but being a peninsula, there's always somewhere to go. So if the swell's big and windy, there's always a little nook somewhere that will have a cleaner wave, or But
well, I just want to get at it. I'm looking forward to
I was going to
say,
say, although I live here, Langland is where I was born surfing. So it was Langland in 1967. Summer of 1967, I went down from Bishop Gore because I was captain of the swimming team. And one guy nagged me all day long down on the beach. It was midsummer, lovely and warm. And he said, Pete, have a go at my surfboard, because I didn't choose it. And I said, no, I don't want to have a go. This is how it started. So he said, go on, Pete, have a go. So he gave me an old bilbo, 9 foot long, a real old log. I remember paddling out, because I was a front row swimmer, quite quick, although I'm little. I paddled out, turned this board around. He said, what do I do? He said, catch the white water, stand up and do this. So I remember white water hit me. I bounced along. I jumped up like, Neanderthal style. And that moment, for me, I thought, shit, I love this.
Yeah.
So it was weird, because people now choose surfing, but surfing the waves, if you like, got me.
Yeah.
Without me going to get it. I was in the water, didn't want to surf because I was swimming and I was going to be a PE teacher. This just before I went. And, and I thought, shit, I love this. And so that's how surfing hit me, really.
It's amazing how it grabs us all, isn't it? Everyone's got that unique sort of
way.
I can't remember learning.
No.
Because I started so young, so I don't have that feeling of...
It
was just always there.
It's kind of always been there.
It sounds like you were pretty much born on a surfboard.
Yeah,
so
so I don't know any different in that
for
sense.
sure.
Obviously I know the feeling of what it gives me. But
you are a natural ripper, James.
I don't know
The
what.
bigger the waves get, the better you get.
Well, you two guys, you're on the same
waves.
you're on the same amount of titles. Are you like, I need to get one more? Are you quite competitive?
He's won I've never been European champion. But
it's all different. Doesn't matter anyway. Doesn't matter.
You ever sit here and these stories he comes out, because I imagine people come in here just to hear his stories.
Are they?
Right?
They are quite good.
Do you ever sit there and go, I never knew that about you?
To be honest, I think I've heard them all by now. What's really cool though is, have you seen Busting Down the Door?
No.
The rabbit documentary about when they were all held up in Hawaii. And the Hui wanted to kill.
Rabbit,
MR.
Not rabbits, the one they were.
Yeah, but but the Rabbit, MR. There was
Pete Townend.
Who's the other Australian guy?
Bruce Cregan.
No, Brian Cregan.
Brian Cregan.
There was
Pete Townend. Rabbit.
There was another Australian guy. Anyway, so.
Ian Cairns.
Ian Cairns.
Yeah,
that's it. Ian Cairns. So the documentary, the film called Busting Down the Door, is brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah,
but whilst they were held up and they had contracts out on their heads, the Hawaiians had there was this big war between Hawaii and Australia.
Yeah.
And in the flat above was Dad, Steve Daniels, Nigel Simmons. Blissfully unaware. But it was that, it was that era.
It was fantastic. We didn't know. We could feel a mood when you walked on the beach. If a Hawaiian locals, a mood,
Well, you were surfing somewhere, weren't you?
I went out on my own one morning next to Sunset Camis, a peak left, big peak right on the left. Anyway, God, one day I was early in the morning and sitting there. I looked to my left quick and there was two big Hawaiian guys sitting where you are, about 6 feet away. So I looked at them. I sort of, hello, all right. One of them said, true story, he said, where the fuck are you from, man? I said, Wales. He said, where the fuck is Wales? I said, you got England, Scotland, Ireland and Wales. Oh, you're... Great Britain or something, he said. I can't even remember what he said. And they paddled off. Didn't think of it. If I'd been an Aussie, if I said I was an Aussie, because I looked like an Aussie, I had long hair, I was brown, I was fit,
Not Hawaiian, basically.
And we were all going in and out of the water, and I didn't see Rabbit turn up much. But... Rabbit's a lovely guy. He's a poor Australian guy. Started a family with no money and became world champion. Jumped and he trained there all the time. And probably when you're training, you just grab every wave. All the training. You go in, grab.
But that film, Busting Down the Door, is about them becoming professional.
Right, yeah.
And it's that era that Dad was in Hawaii in 76, 77.
Yeah.
Because the following year you were invited to the Duke, so I think Dad was the first European surfer to be invited to a big. The Duke was the predecessor to the Eddie Aikau.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Glad I didn't go.
And it's invite only. So
right.
that was. In fact, the poster's up there. The original poster from the Smirnoff Luxie in Hawaii.
Oh wow!
Can you see it? That one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
Eddie Aikau on the poster. That's Eddie Aikau. So
yeah, there's lots of stuff going on. You know.
Yeah, totally.
And Graham Nile as well. I mean, I won't tell you that story.
Summer for the after 10 o'clock.
Well, I mean, like this is the type of shop where I think the true surf shop feel, where you can come in and listen to the stories all day long, and I think we could go on all day. But I think I just heard a battery beeping, didn't I?
About 6 minutes left. I'm going to have to buy a bigger SD card.
Myself, yeah.
Tell to do part
story.
Well, what we could finish on is we always like to ask. There's a couple of set questions we do ask, and we like to find out about best wave or best surf experience, and worst wave or worst wipeout.
Ooh.
I'll start with best.
Mine are quite easy, I think. So, best wave, when I was 16, I was in the Quicksilver Pro Junior in Cap Breton, and I was with like all the top Australian boys. Taj Burrow was in my heat.
Wow.
Danny Wills, Nathan Webster, like all the greats,
you
know, of that time, the American kids there. And in those days, there weren't many pro juniors. There was only a couple of them. And I was sponsored by Quicksilver. I was staying with the Quicksilver team. And I was in my heat, and I had 4 waves, and I got barreled from takeoff and spat out, and I won the heat. So without doing a maneuver, so that was like, and I've actually got a photo, because there's a famous photographer who was shooting Taj in the heat, and he got a photo because I was sponsored by Quicksilver. It was put in the Quicksilver brochure, a big double page of me in the tube. But it's around here somewhere on the wall, and that was quite cool, because as I was walking up the beach, they were calling out the results because there was no computers then, so you'd hear it. And I was walking up the beach, and Mickey Pecan and all those boys were all part of the Quicksilver team. And they said, you know, in 4th place, so-and-so from Spain. In 3rd place, so-and-so from France, I think it was. And in 2nd place, they said from Australia, Taj Burrow. Ooh, and then they went in 1st place from Wales. And all the boys were like hooting and screaming. And I hadn't actually done a manoeuvre. That was what was quite cool, you know.
So basically, you're saying your best ever wave in a competition was your laziest one.
Yeah, exactly. So that was it. That was definitely it. My worst wipeout, well, I was probably at the sandbar in Langland. There's a big slabby left right out in the middle of the bay. Yeah. And it's just the water swirls, and it's just heavy and horrible, and that's probably my worst wipeout out there. But landed on my ribs and hurt my ribs. Most memorable surf would be Mundaka again. That summer I was in France all summer. Yeah. We couldn't... there was no internet, and we were staying with the boys at Quicksilver, and they said, the swell's going to be really big next couple of days. Go to Rediles in northern Spain. Big left-hander. Our car kept breaking down, so we only got to Mundaka, and the night before it was absolutely pan flat, and we were like, the boys are probably getting pumping waves down the coast, but we're stuck here. So we slept in the car, woke up in the morning, and I remember again I'm looking out in the island out the back of Mundaka, and just white water peeling down the side of the island. So we drove down to the harbour. Yeah. It was about 8 to 10 foot, sheet glass, September. It was the first day I was meant to be back in school. It was September the 4th. I can remember it clearly. I was with my uncle, and one guy was getting changed. So we said, we'll get changed quick now. We'll follow him out so we know where to paddle out. Yeah. So jumped in the harbour, paddled out. And boats were getting pulled out the harbour because the swell was so big and there was so much water moving. Yeah. So this guy who we followed in caught a wave and went in. So we surfed for like 2 hours, just the two of us, and like
amazing.
All like blue skies, amazing. And then we surfed there all day. We low tide there was about 6-7 people in, locals, and they were all really cool. And then in the evening we surfed again. And then the following day, we woke up and there was about 100 people there because they'd all heard Mundaka.
Sounds
tell them
horrible.
Story. Tell them the story how you got back home with Vaughan. It's a fantastic story. His uncle Vaughan is a genius.
The short version is the car broke down every 100 yards, right, all summer. Yeah. We were driving back through France. We had to leave Hossega 4 days before the ferry because we were like, it just kept breaking down. So we, bonnet up, clean the points, just nightmare. So we get to Cannes in northern France, or Cannes. Yeah. And the car just completely died. So we're walking through the town, and I'm like following my uncle, and I'm thinking, he's like, what are we going to do? So didn't speak any French. Found a Nissan garage. Worked out that it was the fuel pump. So got there. The car we had never been imported into France, right? So they couldn't get any parts. So he's like, right, I'll buy an electric fuel pump. So it was like 500, 600 francs at the time. So he's like, oh, not doing that. So he just walks off. So I'm like following him down the road. And we're about a mile from the Nissan garage. So we're walking back to the car. So like, oh, we'll have to get a train. So in the next minute, he walks into a garden centre. So I was just like, strange time to go and buy plants. So in we go. And he comes out with 2 5-litre jerry cans, a 5-litre garden hand spray, weed sprayer. So I said, what are you going to do with that? He said, I got an idea. So we get back to the car. He rips all of the dash and all the stuff out from the bulkhead, fills the can of fuel between my legs full of petrol. So 5 litres, pump it up so it's under pressure. Took the hose thing off, pushed it through one of the holes in the bulkhead, got the rubber hose from the carb and the fuel line, stuck it on, cable tied it on, pumped it up, give it a squirt, boom, car started. So we drove all the way back from Ken with me. Honest to God. We got about 100 miles to the gallon, right? Because as it would splutter, gave it a little squirt, off it would go. So we go down the motorway, like pumping the pressure, because the pressure was going, and we drove from there all the way back to Llangena.
Can you imagine health and safety?
Yeah. Well,
he had the petrol between his legs.
We had 5 litres either side,
amazing.
10 litres, and then 5 litres between the legs.
Well,
but we got
a
all
cost
the way back.
saving,
I've actually got a selfie. It must be one of the earliest selfies because I had a disposable camera, and I got a photo of me with like driving back,
epic.
So
and it melted, didn't it?
Yeah, all the seals went by the time we were high as kites. We were high as kites because we had all the windows open, and it was just we had all the fuel in the car. But it got us back.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So what about best wave?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Best
you don't have to name the location, though.
Oh, I don't really know my best wave. Probably one in Langland.
Your first wave?
Best wave,
yeah, probably your first wave, because without that one...
I was going to say...
I wouldn't be that.
Or J-Bay. I had a wave out J-Bay in 1978. I drove down there from East London, and it was perfect 6 foot with about 6 guys in the water, and had a right peeled all the way through. So probably that was not my best wave. I think I had a wave in Scotland, Thurso East, perfect right-hander in a heat in the British, not in the European. Perfect. So that's another one. Probably my best.
And another one.
You're going to tell us all your waves.
He's been around a while.
I will give it to Langland Point on a big day with a northerly wind offshore from outside to the sand. Probably that's my best way.
How about your worst?
Worst
wipeout or worst surf experience?
Probably in Sunset Beach, big set, no leash, bang, you hit the water. Waves probably about 12 foot. I call it, Hawaiians call it 6 foot, 8 foot, but big, held under, and I thought, shit, and you're moving around, swimming around, you're not actually going, you don't know if you're going up, but you open your eyes in the water in Hawaii and you can see, so you push up to the top and go, just get enough breath, probably Hawaii, worst wipeout, but... I've had so many waves to say what was the best, so many wipeouts. I've had bangs, I cut my leg, cut my eye, I've had other stuff.
Okay, and then, I guess to finish off, if people want to find you, come in and just hear some stories,
don't. If you do, please bring alcohol. There's a pub opposite.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, we got so many stupid stories.
Yeah, you could go on for another couple of hours.
People you meet, it's people I've met. It's just, friend of mine, shall I tell him this? You've heard this. Went to California and married a girl. A friend of mine had made him aboard like a year before. He said, Pete, we're coming back. We're coming. Do you want me to stop?
No, you can finish it. We'll do the podcast bit. We'll just finish that. That one's still good.
Yeah, that's
all right. He came back from California and he said, I'm going to have a little ceremony in Ferry Hill Hotel, which is about 2 miles away, really classy. He said, will you come with Carol? Anyway, I said, okay, we'll go. Anyway, we were late going there, knocked on the door of the hotel door opened. The owner of the hotel, who knows me, said, I thought you'd be here, Pete. Come in quick. They're coming down the stairs. Gary and his wife. Anyway, they had a little ceremony. Gary's father looks across at me as I go in. And Gary, in a loud voice, says, you made it, Pete. I said, in a loud voice, said, sorry I'm late, everybody. And anyway, they said the words, and her father walked past me. He sat right behind me. And as he walked by, I thought, I know that face. And I nudged the only other Welsh guy who was invited, Tim Allen. Tim, I said, Nell, her name, Nell's father looks like Paul Newman. It is, he said. So I said, shit, Paul Newman. And Carol, I nudged my lovely wife. She said, shut up, I'm talking. I said, I got to tell you something, love. I got to tell you something. Shut up, I said, I got to tell you. She said, what do you want to tell me? Gary's, Nell's father is Paul Newman. Carol went red. But so we spent the whole evening with Paul Newman and his wife, Joanne Woodward. And then the other one, it's a lot of people you're going to interview.
What about Prince Charles?
That's the one.
King Charles.
King Charles.
Is that Prince Charles? If you're going to tell us the picture of him surfing was with you?
No.
You went to Buckingham Palace with cocktails.
He invited in 1978. Prince Charles was patron of the British Surfing Association.
Yeah.
So he invited all the champions from Britain and all the officials, about 20 of us, and Jersey, to go to Buckingham Palace. So it was me, Linda Sharp, you'll have to interview Linda, Pete Bounds, and Roland, because he was, we got a green Merc, right, and we hired it early July 78. We drove to Buckingham Palace. Can you imagine Buckingham Palace in July? Tourists everywhere. We're all in a Merc, pulled up at the gate. We got a special pass. Everybody looks at us. So we stopped there. The police there, the big, what do you call those guys with the big...
beefeater guys, aren't they? Or whatever they are.
Stop us, boom, show us the pass. In we go. So we drove in. I thought, right, they must have thought we were the Beatles or something going in there. Into the middle square, you can't see from Buckingham Palace. Up the stairs we go. And we're all in this, we're in the room. It's very informal. It's not seats or anything, just there. We got champagne handed out and caviar and little things. And anyway, so I started with Graham Niall, Pete Bounds, myself, just chatting, three of us, and everybody has Nigel Simmons and Steve Daniel were there. They were in another group. Anyway, I look behind and Prince Charles just walks in. And he comes right round me, Graham. We got big moustaches. Graham's got a huge, I got a bigger touch than I got now. And Pete Bounds got a big moustache. And I'll never forget this. It was so funny. So I bowed, I shook his hand. He said, I've noticed, he said, a lot of you surfers have moustaches. Do they keep you warm in the winter? That's what Prince Charles said. Just like Graham Niall from Cornwall burst out laughing. It's got a massive cackle laugh. Pete Bounds got a laugh, and I'm standing there, and now he's the king. So I think that was a fabulous moment,
Yeah.
That so surfing has given me loads of
It's given you a life of stories, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's just given you a life.
We've not even scratched the surface.
So it's funny. And in here, we've had people come in here, but I won't tell you those stories. But other very famous people, wandering and
who's you got to give us who's the most famous person that's come in here?
Most
current Doctor Who. The last what's her name?
Jodie Whittaker.
Jodie Whittaker, yeah. And she bought PJ's hoodies for her whole family.
Oh, nice.
There's a photo down on the beach with them all wearing PJ's hoodies.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah. That was quite cool.
Yeah.
She's probably the most famous current, like Jodie Whittaker.
What about the singer?
Oh yeah, she's quite famous as well.
She,
which one?
It was in January. It's pouring with rain. The door was shut and the bell rang. Down I come, and I opened the door. And it's a lovely, pretty lady comes in. She's only shortish, like 5'5". Anyway, she's smiling all the time. She said, "Oh, hello." I said, "Oh, hello." She said, "Have you got any of your rash vests with your logo on it?" He said, "No, I've ordered them." I said, "But I keep looking at it. I keep thinking I know this place." She said, "I'll give you my phone number." Catherine Jenkins.
No.
Well, singer.
Guess what phone number he lost?
Catherine.
So if anyone out there is listening to this has got her mobile number, please get in contact.
She was lovely. But I did go backwards a bit because she said, "Do you like music?" I said, "Oh, you got the most beautiful voice I've ever heard." I said, "I love playing my guitar and, I do sing now and again, believe it or not." And she said, "Oh, well, go and get your guitar and I'll sing with you." So I went, no, I'm not doing that. I went backwards. So I thought, I should have.
Devastating.
She's got a...
You say, go and get your guitar, sing you. I don't like condoms either.
Yeah.
Do you know, I think the only thing that would make that Buckingham Palace story better is when you drove in, if it had been your Nissan and you were pumping the fuel on the way in.
It's unbelievable. Vaughan, his Uncle Vaughan, he's like
a spy, though, I'm sure.
He's like a Treasure Island man. He can make anything. He can make electricity. He can do this, do that.
Amazing.
But he is very, very talented at fixing things.
Guys, it's been absolutely incredible to speak to you, and I feel like we could go on, but I've heard both SD cards go beep 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 now, so they're full up with time. I've got recording. We can carry on audio, but there'll be no visual.
It's lovely for you to put up with me.
It's been
and
our pleasure.
James.
This is what we, as a show for us, like we shouldn't be talking. We'll maybe steer a conversation or whatever, but really, if we can just go. In my head, I was thinking how cool a part of the sort of film would be if me and you just put the microphones down and left. Telling your stories as if we're here.
Come back.
That's gold. It's been amazing.
Sorry about that, guys.
No, honestly, no need to apologise.
Fantastic. So where can people find you online, and whereabouts is your address here?
We've got a little online shop. We're not that techy, but it's pjsurfshop.com. And I don't even know our mobile number. But it is out there somewhere. If you Google it, it will come up. Amazing. But don't phone us unless you want to spend lots of money.
And then whereabouts are we based? What's the address for this place?
We're in Llangennith, about 20 minutes outside Swansea.
So for anybody that's not Welsh, that's the one that starts with LL. It's
right on the end of the Gower.
Llangennith.
Yeah.
Amazing, gents. No, thank you very much for your time. That's been a genuine pleasure.
Much appreciated.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Aloha.
Aloha. How is that for you?
Well, fucking hell. What else do we say to that?
What a legend. What else? I feel like we could have just sat there for it was literally, I think we were running out of battery power, weren't we? And we were like, we got to stop because
we're plugged into the mains though, that's the thing.
Yeah, no, I mean like running out of SD card space on the cameras and everything was running out, and like James didn't even get a look in for the first, well, God knows how long
it was. I remember it being somewhere around 22 to 23 minutes, because I think there was a point we looked at each other and we were like, this is gold. Like, I've never asked somebody to introduce themselves when they've ended up filming their own episode.
Yes, it was literally another one of those ones like Swanee, wasn't it, where we could have not even been there and it would have got the same episode.
Oh, big time. And honestly though, what a pair of absolute legends. I mean, firstly, we were made to feel so welcome. Like, we've said this a lot about the Wales trip, right? Like, but we were made to feel super welcome. I felt like in Llangennith. Is it Llangennith?
Llangennith, yeah.
Llangennith.
LL is, yes, Llangennith.
Right?
Yeah.
I felt like where the surf school was, which is a really cool setup, it's kind of like, I don't know, I felt like I was in an episode of Heartbeat or something. It was a very quaint little village, and I remember there being loads of sheep out the front as well when we arrived.
Yeah.
But they gave us a tour of the place.
Racist.
They gave us a tour. We got drinks. And it was like a little carton of orange juice.
Yeah.
Felt like I was getting my packed luncheon off to school. But honestly, what a pair of legends. Like, super nice, super welcoming, and an amazing location they've got there as well by that beach.
Yeah. Really nice guys, and like their accolades. I mean, there's too many to read out, but if you go, we'll put a link on this episode on the Spotify and on the YouTube to their website, and you can read through them. They're like both national champions. I think it was, wasn't it? He said like his dad's won one more than him, but it's one he'll never be able to do or something.
Yeah, I can't actually remember what it was. I think they had won all the same accolades, and he hadn't got one that his dad had got. And I want to say it was a UK national one. I can't quite remember off my head, which is annoying. There was so much going on in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then like the best thing that I think in there was that surfboard on the ceiling. I mean, like you said, you haven't seen that film, but the film Chasing Mavericks, I thought it was a brilliant film. And like Jay Moriarty, who it's about, that board, to see that board, it was like, it's like one of those. That's well screwed to the ceiling. That is. Believe me, I tried.
There was a lot of memorabilia in there as well, and
just people like coming in and out constantly as well while we were like recording.
That was it in the intro. His intro went on for so long that I think the door was answered 3 times, if I remember it, maybe even 4, which if you watch the video, you'll see.
You see just James just leaving and then coming back and leaving and coming back.
Had a chance to speak or say hello or introduce himself. And it was almost like we were so far into it with PJ's intro that it almost seemed odd James doing an intro, because it was like, we're well established now.
But I mean, if you're going that way, just check out that surf shop. It's absolutely brilliant surf shop, and they're so lovely. And by all means, give yourself an extra hour or two, because if you start asking questions, you will get answers and stories. Like everybody we had in Welsh, everyone in Welsh we had, everyone in Wales, just stories, and they just carry on going and speaking. It's absolutely fantastic.
And honestly, these two, I think we've spoken about this before, but when we were putting out the calls of who should we have on the show, these were the names that came up more than anyone.
More
and these
than
are
anything,
genuine legends. I mean, who the fuck do you know that was just hanging out with Jerry Lopez? People like that,
the people that came on the show before you were here, like John Philbin and Matt Adler. They hang out with him when they film North Shore.
But it's just a testament of what he's done.
Yeah. No, I'm just proving you wrong that I know other people that have hung out with him as well.
Okay. You fell in.
You're the only one that's not hung out with him, mate. We all have. We all meet up every week, which is like, don't invite the Scottish surfer.
Well, it's not hard without me.
So what have you been up to? Anything good?
Well, mate, super busy as always. We had the vouchers obviously for Lost Shore, which just actually flown off the shelf. Been amazing. We've stopped that. Just launched the Christmas ones this week as well. Listened to the feedback. People wanted individual surf vouchers, for one surf or one lesson, whatever you want. It's obviously a big investment's the wrong word. It's a big purchase if you've never surfed before to come somewhere and have to spend 100 quid, 150 quid. So we're doing individual ones, prevent that barrier, allow people to come and surf. And just honestly looking forward to opening. It's so exciting, so much going on. And I've been able to surf on my doorstep. And
you've had snow. You had snow as well, didn't you?
We had snow, right? And I don't know if anyone saw. I'll put it up. I found a guy outside with a surfboard that looked identical to mine, and he had the same sponsors as me, which is mental. And he was a snowman or a snow person, and. So this is a couple of days ago. I actually went for a surf with him today, and we paddled out together. He done one duck dive. I've not seen him since.
You were going there, an absolute dickhead.
I actually, do you know what? The reason I said that is because I was thinking about it this morning when I went out for a surf. I was like, because somebody built that snowman in my car park just down there, I had a night in the van, so I was like, do you know what? I'm actually going to get his remnants, put like some of the snow on the board, to actually make him do a duck dive, and then just leave like the carrot and put sticks for arms on the board and be like, Dave. And I couldn't be asked. The waves were so good, I just wanted to go surf.
Oh, amazing.
But
Amazing. Well, yeah.
Today, so I don't know about, probably down your way, maybe you're the same, but maybe it's because you just don't get the time to go for a surf, I don't know, but the last few years, our winters on the East Coast have been shit, like so poor for surf. Yeah. The summers have been even worse.
I think it's literally the curse of like start a podcast and all the surf just went, nope.
Yeah, right. So this winter has been amazing. Like I've honestly surfed here in Cali so much, like at least once a week. I had 2 sessions today, and I won't say who he is, but friend of the show, remember the guy that offered us his van in the Scotland trip?
Yeah.
He, I'm sure he won't mind me saying, he was a really good surfer. Like, I mean, seriously, with triple overhead charger, Yeah. And I remember where it was, but he got battered, like properly battered by locals, like fucking bellends. And he's not surfed since, like 8 years. And when I first met him, it's turned out the guy had followed me on Instagram for a while. And I met him, we just got on, and he was sort of telling me the story, and he's built up this, obviously, I guess, picture in his head of, surfing, that's why I can't go, because it was surfing at done or something along them lines. So he's not been able to. And when I decided today, when I was looking out the window, I was like, right, fuck it, I'm going, I'm having an hour off, and I'm going to go for a surf. At that point, his van drove past the window, and I was like, fucking messaged him. I was like, mate, let's get in the water right now. I'm going for a surf. Come with me, just me and you. There's no one else about. And he did. And
fucking brilliant.
It's absolutely class, mate. And it was, honestly, it looked about shoulder high at best from the window. Yeah. We both stood there at face level as well, and still looked about shoulder high. There was plenty of gaps in the sets. There was a big swell coming in, supposedly.
Yeah.
Plenty of gaps in the sets to paddled out. It was fucking relentless. Probably head and a half, maybe.
Yeah.
It was massive, and fair play. I was like, fucking hell. There was, again, one of them days where there's no outback. You get to what you think is outback, and there's just a bigger set waiting to take you. So he made it out, and he's on this proper old retro board, like you'd love it. Which he had as a kid. So he managed to get out, made it out. Like, having not surfed for 8 years, that was a big feat. I've been surfing loads. I'm pretty surf fit at the minute, and I was like, this is hard work. It's non-stop. Got out, got a wave, and then he came in, but he'd got a wave. But it was brutal, honestly. And I was like, that's amazing. Like 8 years. And gone out and on a day like that, that's hard for any surfer.
Yeah.
Let alone being that long out of the water. So honestly, like I feel really good that he's been able to do that, and I've been able to share that with him. So totally
brilliant. Yeah, absolutely awesome. Well, I think you can hear more about our antics and what we've been up to and stuff on our Buy Me Coffee if you want to hear any of that. So that's enough for this episode. We'll see you next time. Don't forget, before we go, thank you to the sponsors of the show, Dry Robe, and also thank you to Srface Wetsuits. If you want 10% off at Srface Wetsuits, use the discount code UK Surf Show 23, and that will get you 10% off anything you order from Srface Wetsuits.
Yeah, amazing, and thank you for the support to both of them. You'll finally see we've got the affiliate link for Dry Robe as well, so check that out.
That'll be going on the website,
Yeah, and we'll get that up in the stories if you want to use it. I have to finish off with a huge, and I mean a monstrous, congratulations to Lucas Skinner, coming second in the under-16 World Juniors ISA.
In the what?
World.
World.
I mean, that's just another level of an accomplishment.
Isn't it?
It's not only good for Lucas, it's obviously good for Lucas, it's amazing for Ben, it's amazing for the whole family.
Yeah.
But for UK surfing as a whole, what Lucas is doing right now is starting a pathway for everyone. It's putting attention back on UK surfing for a sponsor level, for an ability level, for an investment level. And I just think, man, that's fucking epic what you've done. Absolutely kudos. Absolutely
brilliant.
Kudos.
So yeah, that's it. Thanks again to PJs, and we will see you next time.
Can you see what's happening on the screen, Pete?
I can see what's happening on the screen.
Which one? No, wait. What did I just do? That was it. So see that happening? Every time I'm sitting like this, that's what's been happening.